To become a production SQL database administrator. My name is Raphael. In this next series of videos now, we're going to be discovering the course called SSRS, or SQL Server Reporting Services Part 1. This course is going to be a part 1 of 2. So this part is going to cover the creation of SSR reports, and then part 2 is going to be talking about the administrative part of SQL SSRS. So we'll discuss that later. So this particular table of contents is devoted to creation of SSRS and their functionalities. A couple of things to note: there is a couple of prerequisites for this. So if you're getting to this stage, if you're familiar with SSRS, or if you want to learn SSRS, and this is a great course. If you've never had a exposure to SSRS, then certainly learning this first part 1 will give you that exposure, and by the end of this course, you'll be able to create very high functioning reports. One of the prerequisites that I would say is mandatory is Learn TSQL course. The other useful courses that I've created are SQL Administration Part 1, 2, and 3. While these are more administrative parts, this is more of a development part, which is related to administration in a production environment. But if you want to take these courses, then you're more than welcome to take them. But I would highly recommend that you have an understanding of T-SQL at least to get to this stage. When you're creating reports, it's not something that you're not familiar with SQL Server, SQL reporting services, and you're not familiar with SQL. By the time you get to have the responsibility of creating reports for a company, you're pretty well assured of what SQL Server does in both terms of reporting services and the administrative part. So this is why I'm encouraging you to take at least minimum T-SQL, because there's a lot of T-SQL reporting scripts that are going to be written that I'm going to provide for you, but you have to understand how I create them. And I don't discuss how I create them because this course, Learn T-SQL, is dedicated to that. So these are the important things to know before you take the course. Now, if you go to SQL, if you go to the internet and go to udemy.com and just on the search, type in my name, Raf Osger, then you can see the most courses that I produce, and you're more than welcome to take them. But this is the one that I need you to take if you're considering taking SQL SSRS. So this is an important course to take. So just a tip there, but this is an important thing to do. So what are we going to be covering? So let's get right into what are you going to be covering so you have an idea of what you're going to be learning. As I said, this is part 1, and the next part is going to be the actually administration. So here you'll understand what is SSRS, or SQL Reporting Services. We're going to download SQL 2016 server and the reporting services so we can start creating reports. We're also going to download Microsoft Visual Studio, which is the environment where you create reports. There is a correction. I just want to make sure there's a correction in the video that you'll do here, so just take a note of that. You are going to download and install SQL Server Data Tools. Now, this is the environment that allows you to create reports. We're going to download an attach called AdventureWorks 2016. We're going to create a simple report. We're going to format it, and we're going to do all these tremendous things. So you can go through this list, and you can see that there's a tremendous amount of reports. By the time you've finished with this, you'll pretty be, again, 90% versed in writing reports for your environment, whether there be financial reports or human resources reports or whatever reports you write. And you'll talk about parameters and cascading, and you'll get a very good understanding of how to create a report. Some of the reports that you will be doing, actually, let me give you some examples here. For example, this is a very simple report. And as you can see, it's just the name of the countries and the capital. So we'll begin very simply of how to create a report. We'll show you how to create various types of charts that allow the upper management to visually see their content data. We'll talk about what's called conditional formatting, very important and very powerful feature, which allows you to highlight certain aspects of certain data. We'll talk about how to creating a template at the end with your logo and how to insert images and how to freeze the bars. And then we're going to talk about a very important thing where you'll certainly use this is called cascading parameters. Here you can see multiple cascading parameters. And basically what it allows you to do is filter data based on the selection of a parameter here. So we'll show you how to do this. So by the time you're versed, you'll be able to create these very sophisticated reports. Now, it doesn't look like much here, but I show you this report here is a very important report that you'll be using here. And if I go view report, now we can get all the data. And this is going to be a very important aspect of you creating cascading reports for your environment. So we'll get to that stage. So this is how you're going to be. You're going to start with a very simple report like this. And by the time you're finished with it, you'll be creating multiple cascading sub-reports. And you'll be also creating sub-reports and cascading parameters. So there's a tremendous amount you'll be learning in this series of videos. And then after you've completed this, the next course is going to be part 2, where I show you how to administer SQL reporting services. That entails, obviously, things we've been talking about, the SQL administration, like backups of databases. We're going to talk about securities. We're talking about report builders. So even part 2 is going to have a tremendous amount. And then by the time you finish with both part 1 and 2, you'll be extremely versed in understanding SSRS. Then, so this is one of the courses that I highly recommend any SQL production DBA in pursuit of a career. This is more geared towards a developer, but the honest truth is, if you even know reporting services at this level that I'm teaching you, you can open a tremendous amount of doors, because nowadays the DBA is wearing multiple hats, and this is one thing that they are requesting that you know, and so it's very critical that you know this. I use it certainly every time, and on my resume I have this, of course, and it certainly helps me get into the door of jobs. So this is an important thing. So this is going to be a table. This is the table of contents for SQL SSRS Part 1, and I hope you enjoy as you have enjoyed the other ones. So I'm going to leave it here, and we'll continue with the next course, which is going to be Part 2. So my name is Raphael, and this is how to become a production SQL database administrator. See you in the next video.